Welcome back to the Jay Ravato Show, and do we have a show for you today? Do we? And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the ICE raid shooting. The ICE shooting has ignited a heated debate, and the media is spinning it every which way except for the truth. Tonight, we react to CNN as they discuss the radicalization of young white men and what fuels them. But they end up contradicting themselves, as usual.
Another day, another act of political violence in America, and another round of the blame game. A sniper opening fire at an ICE facility in Texas, killing one detainee and hurting two.
So we're going to just name this the blame game. I'm already going to deem this segment, the whole segment of Abby Phillips and the guest, the blame game. The guest is probably going to be very punctual and accurate, but Abby Phillips and her teammates.
Two others. The suspect died after turning the gun on himself. Now, not long after, the FBI director published images of shell casings with the words anti-ICE written in blue. Also, not long after the shooting, the political lines were drawn.
You don't have to agree with my immigration policies. You don't have to agree with Donald Trump's immigration policies. But if your political rhetoric encourages violence against our law enforcement, you can go straight to hell, and you have no place in the political conversation of the United States of America.
So, look, this is extremely disturbing that there's another one of these types of shootings. I think we've got to deal with this as a country, first of all. But I also, just for starters, I'm curious, how does it help to have the vice president say that?
Because the third one in Texas. I mean, if you know people that work in law enforcement, my family does. I know ICE agents in Texas. This is the third attack we've seen in Texas, in the same district as the man in charge today was saying. Like, this is the second time he's had to have a press conference today.
Who was killed today? Who was killed today?
So you're saying since it wasn't...
Not what I'm at. No.
So you're saying since it wasn't... It was innocent people that were killed today.
Don't put words in my mouth.
You asked a question. I'm answering your question. You're saying since it wasn't ICE agents that were killed, therefore this is a null and void conversation?
No. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Are you kidding me?
That's gaslighting. I'm asking you a simple question because when J.D. Vance went up there, and when you're coming up here...
This is not a good argument from you.
First of all,
innocent people got shot today, and you're like, well, it wasn't ICE agents that got shot.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the division that you all are sowing in this country...
I'm not sowing anything. I'm saying protect all law enforcement.
Because of the simple fact, yes, protect
Gavin Newsom went on TV last night. Did you see what he said? He said ICE agents are authoritarian. You don't think that can inspire someone to do that?
ICE agents should be able to come home every single night. And so don't put words in my mouth. I am acting like it. First and second, the fact that you and J.D. Vance and every other Republican can go on here and talk about...
We're not shooting people. But we're not shooting people. The left is shooting people, and they're being inspired by that.
Okay, so basically, as we all have common sense, we all have eyeballs, so we can see the truth, we can see what's going on. We do know that Gavin Newsom and the crew, they have a different way of handling issues that are chaotic, such as this ICE shooting. What they have to understand is calling out the rhetoric on their own side would do a lot of help, more than harm. But what they do instead is harm more than help. They include and they inject rhetoric. And it's not just what they're going to play later on in the video as the Nazi. Trump was calling out the communists and the actual fascist countries that were interconnected with the Clintons and the Biden administration, Obama and Biden. I think that what they are missing and what's going over their heads is the simple fact that after these wild shootings, no one condemns, as per Gavin Newsom, that came out and said that the bad guys are the ICE agents and the good guys are, I guess, the suspects. We have to figure out how to condemn that. I'm suggesting that to the left. Could you guys figure out how to condemn the obvious obstruction of justice? The obvious ones. And condemn it, calm it down, the rhetoric, and then approach. Because, yes, we do need to figure this out as a country. And we can start with ourselves. I talk to my kids. I expect for other adults and parents to talk to their kids. Roll it.
That is the low. That is
I'm
the
sorry.
biggest.
I have a friend that got shot and assassinated 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
I'm a little bit hot on this one because you guys have been irresponsible with the rhetoric that is coming out from people on the left. Gavin Newsom went on TV last night. Hold on. Gavin Newsom went on TV last night and disparaged ICE agents, attacked ICE agents, said they're authoritarian.
But before you even get to the
what
evidence,
is the evidence?
one second.
Watch what he said last night on late night television.
I'm not talking about that, Ben, because you come on here and you gaslight and you.
I'm not gaslighting. I don't want innocent people to die.
Let me finish my sentence, please. You come on here and you gaslight and you put words in my mouth. And that's not what I said.
You interrupted me and said you got shot.
Can you just let him finish?
No, wait, because my thing is, this guy, Abby Phillips, and the rest of the people, they will interject, they will interrupt you the whole entire time. I don't understand it. He gets interrupted 50. If you watch this, like we're gonna watch. If you watch it, he's going to be interjected and interrupted. He's going to throw in all type of things and CNN talking points and all high rhetoric and this and that and the third, blaming this guy and that guy and Trump and Vance and never blaming the left. Watch.
Ben, in the
because
interest,
the question
hold on,
is,
Ben, in the interest of finishing this
and
conversation,
what I want you to do is not only lift up those ICE agents. What I'm trying to get you to do is also lift up those people who were killed. Because when you
what I'm trying to get you to do, see what I'm saying? Come on. All right. Okay.
do not lift up those people who were killed, as well as those law enforcement officers. You sow division in this country.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying.
Let me say this.
Here's where I agree with Ben.
Let me say this. Look at the
Ben,
bullets that are on the ground.
Ben,
Here's where I agree. Here's where I agree with Ben.
Hit a pause on that and let other people.
Here's where I agree with Ben. All right. When the goal clearly was to hurt ICE agents, it matters.
Said it.
And I think that applies not just to ICE, but to law enforcement across the country. We should be angrier when law enforcement are targeted in this country.
Thank you.
Period. Now, that is a...
He's going to try to sneak his point in. Did you see that? So he agrees. That's a loop. And he's going to swoop and bait and switch. I think that's what it's called, bait and switch, yeah.
Separate issue from linking rhetoric to saying that's why this has happened. They're doing this.
It was written on the bullet, Stan.
I understand that, but that doesn't mean...
You don't have to connect dots here.
Of course
he
you do.
wrote it down so he didn't have to connect dots.
I know his motives. I'm not questioning his motives.
So then the motive was anti-ICE rhetoric.
Well, did it say rhetoric on the? Because I thought
it said anti-ICE. And when you have people out there literally 8 hours earlier,
right? So, but here's what
attacking ICE agents.
I'm not going to hold people accountable for everything someone else says and say, oh, well, this guy.
So you're going to ignore the point. This is what he's going to ignore the point and not hold people accountable? I think that's what I heard him say.
I must have done it because this guy said it over there. Again, there's way too much attacks on law enforcement in this country.
Coming from who, though, Dan?
Coming from a whole range of
Show me
people.
a Republican elected official.
They only want to defund the police and strike the people in blue and riot and go against the ICE agents and protest and defund every type of law enforcement group in the country. That's all I've heard so far from them, but I digress.
That is attack ICE or law enforcement for doing their job.
How about the Capitol Police?
I said, give me a...
You said a Republican who's...
I said of ICE agents right now. You're going back...
You said or law enforcement. No, you said or law enforcement.
ICE agents.
Yeah, no, ICE agents...
All right, hold on. Let me let Kristen have a word.
I was going to say, the fact that we still have not yet, taken a second and said, let's think of those agents, let's think of the people, we have gone straight to our party jerseys.
Well, to Bakari's point, the people who were killed today were detainees. I actually think it's a valid question. Who were they?
Well, I think
what were their names? What were they accused of? Why were they there?
The motive of the shooter was to kill.
I think that's the point Bakari was trying to make.
Before we start going into motives, there are two sides. It's not Republican and Democrat. It's good and evil. And for some reason, we get lost into this fight where we blur the lines and say, well, we can all agree here that people who want to go shoot someone for whatever reason is wrong without saying, oh, Republicans, you don't know the motive. We can admit the motive. If they're deranged and they want to kill someone, there's nothing...
Hold on, Ben, hold on. I think you're right. And obviously, I think that's not, though, what a lot of people are doing. They're saying this is the left against the right when it's really deranged people against all of us. And I think that is... Hold on.
We also have to agree that most of the deranged people are on the left. I know you've seen the videos on YouTube or on the news. I mean, guys, come on. Can we agree?
Ben, it's deranged people against all of us who are not deranged and don't go out killing people. I just don't understand what is the value in saying they did this, they did that, when it's he did it.
It happens on your show every night.
What?
Every single night, it's they did this. Republicans are that. Trump.
All right, so can I explain something really quickly for the people that don't understand? I don't think they're going to cover this fact right here. Okay, so we can say he did that. We can say that the other guy that was trans activist did that. But where does the hype come from? Like, what hypes those guys up? Other than the Discord, which is hyped by a certain agenda, which is hyped by a certain wing of a party that may be the left. Who's the orchestrator? What's the source of the hype for that one person that you're talking about? So yes, it's one person. Of course, yeah, it's one person. But the one person is getting hyped. He has a hype man. And the hype man may be the left. Roll it. Go ahead.
Rhetoric, this and that. It can never just focus.
No, but
every
really,
single night.
in a concrete way, what are you talking about?
Every single night it is here, and it's not just Republicans saying they did this. It's Democrats forgetting even what happened, trying to gaslight over it and
so
say.
who is Peyton Gendron?
I'm not even sure what you're talking about.
No.
Why is he asking who Peyton is? Who is Peyton Manning? All right. But Bakari, I like how you threw that in there. I don't know if he was trying to do that loopy thing, but the point I think that he's missing is that whoever got shot, the intention was for the ICE agents. You understand? Yes, he was shot and his life was taken, and the intentions, the rhetoric was spewed, and it was revolving around ICE, anti-ICE rhetoric.
Hold on a second, Bakari. When on this show have we blamed Republicans as a corporate group for
I am
what?
not. I didn't say blame anyone. What I'm saying here is that there were tragedies that happened, and even right now, as we're talking about this one, and to talk about the detainees that died, I want to pray for them too. But immediately we went to, we can't talk about the rhetoric, your rhetoric, that rhetoric. You go right into this.
We did not. It started with the clip of J.D. Vance, but who is Peyton Gendron?
Yeah,
who is Peyton Gendron? Who was Peyton Gendron?
Before we go there,
he actually murdered
clip we showed,
1 second.
The clip we showed was J.D. Vance, not what actually happened.
But he
what
was
does that have to do with it?
He committed mass murder of Buffalo grocery store patrons, just innocent people. Who was Dylan Roof? The things they had on their weapons, the things they had on their guns, and all I'm saying is yes.
So I'm sorry. What are you trying to say? You're trying to say that we don't condemn that as well. That I'm not condemning that as well.
What I'm saying is yes. I will give you credit for that condemnation, but we also condemn that stuff on our side. It's not as if it's this side.
We started the segment tonight with a clip of the vice president.
Second. Go ahead,
For what?
Adam.
For what he said last night about ICE agents. 8 hours before the attack on ICE agents. Is anyone here going to condemn Gavin Newsom?
Go ahead, Adam.
Yes, I can. I don't like Gavin Newsom, so I condemn him.
You know, every time one of these tragic every time one of these tragic shootings happens, everybody's at each other's throats about which side did it, but we're missing a broader pattern in America. This was another young white dude.
Okay, enters an intelligent man that likes to hear himself talk. Well, so do I sometimes. But he gets so wrapped up in the argument, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how you walk yourself in a loop into straight contradiction. Roll it.
Who's in his 20s. We have seen this pattern accelerating over the past decade. The same day Charlie Kirk was shot, the same exact time, there was a neo-Nazi who shot up a school in Colorado. We can look at the acceleration of the radicalization of young men through a few frameworks. There's the COVID pandemic, which had people isolated, had a bubble around themselves, and a lot of young men failed to pull that bubble down and got sucked down these algorithms. I've seen it happen to my close friends. They get sucked down these algorithms. We have foreign actors trying to sow chaos in America, sow division. How much does Putin salivate when he sees us at each other's throats? Then we have domestic actors, people like Elon Musk, riling it up. So all of these factors, wait, hold up, Ben. All of these factors come together to create this pattern that we see of young men in my age range committing these shootings. And if you want to sit here and go back and forth, tit for tat, I can say Dylan Roof, Robert Bowers, John Earnest, none of these were black people, none of these were trans people, none of these were even Democrats. These were neo-Nazis who had things carved into their guns. You can sit here and muddy the waters, but you are just lying.
I just don't want innocent people to die. Sue me for that.
Then maybe tell Trump to tone down his rhetoric.
If you think this is Trump, this is exactly you literally just went through an entire argument. So Abby, let me go back to the
Can I make something that might be?
Do I need to say anything? He did all of that talking and explaining, which was very, very good in the beginning. And he couldn't help. He couldn't help it but to go right back to Donald J. Trump, because that's the only argument that they really do have. It's the strongest argument that they really have, and it's no argument at all. Watch.
A little bit more
Say this.
controversial than that?
Hold on a second.
Sure, go ahead.
This is the part that should not be this
He
hard.
says he hates his enemies.
Hold on, Adam.
Who says he hates
This
his
is
enemies?
the
Hold on,
part
Adam.
that
Hold on,
should
Adam. Go
not be
ahead.
this hard for people to understand. After the assassination of my friend Charlie Kirk, I would hope, and after multiple attacks on ICE facilities, I would hope that leaders of the Democratic Party, and one of those leaders is Gavin Newsom, would know better than to go on TV and to say that ICE agents are the bad guys and that they're authoritarian, and then expect that no one's going to listen to what he's saying or respond to it.
Eric
There
All
should
right,
be more
let me
accountability
just ask
for
you a
that.
question about that, okay? Because I think at the heart of so much of this is your insistence that using certain words leads to violence. Is that what you're saying?
Calling people fascists and Nazis
All
and
right.
authoritarian, yeah.
So when,
And when
so
they
when
write it
Rand,
on their
okay, so
bullets,
when
yes.
Rand Paul posted this today,
This is the whataboutism.
No, hold on, no. I'm just here. Hold on. Rand Paul said YouTube admitted the authoritarian Biden regime ordered them to censor Americans. He used the word authoritarian.
Yes, is it true or false that
Okay,
Google
and
admitted to
then
that?
and
Did
then
they
let
admit
me
to that?
hold on,
Yes.
and then let me play. This is Donald Trump.
Can we discuss this really quickly? Okay, really quick. So we were censored, and I felt as that we were censored. If you were conservative, or you're on the right, or you have any political views of any good coming from the right, then it seemed to be censored or suppressed. I seem to be censored and suppressed when I started to express my views on my YouTube channel. But I said, no way. No, it's not a way in hell. Then this story comes out. And they let me know that I was right. The whole entire time. They've been censoring us conservatives. But why?
Trump, just Donald Trump. Listen.
It's a choice between communism and freedom. This is communist, this is Marxist, this is fascist. This is a radical left Marxist, communist, fascist. She's a Marxist, she's a fascist.
We have short memories around here.
Who's running for
I guess
mayor in
what
New
I'm
York City?
what I'm saying, Ben, what I'm asking you, Ben.
in China.
Last thing,
Communist?
okay,
Is he a
guys.
socialist?
Guys, hold on.
He's not off.
No.
You guys are running
Ben,
one here.
He was
Ben,
calling Biden a communist.
Ben, he was talking
I
about
understand.
Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Hold on a second, okay? I have a question for you. Are you so committed to this idea that we should just ban certain words from the lexicon? Authoritarian,
Not in favor of
fascist,
banning. Not in
Nazi,
favor of it.
communist. Should we just ban them because they're all leading to violence? Or is it just that it's not okay when your political
Abby, I
opponents
think
Well, maybe you should ban it on the left. Look, all right, if you give a weapon to someone that's psychotic, and the most psychotic people come from airspace zone. And in the airspace zone, they get weapons and they shoot everybody up because that's what they represent, airspray. And then you give a weapon to the people from cool, calm, and collected zone. And cool, calm, and collected zone, they hold on to their weapons and they only use them when necessary.
smart enough
You're
to
about say
realize.
something really condescending.
No, I think you're smart to
Whenever you
realize
start with that,
that
it's
when you
condescending.
demonize law enforcement to the point where what is happening is becoming regular against ICE agents because it's coming from people like Gavin Newsom, we should know that there is a correlation there.
Hold on. I take your point about.
It was 8
Hold on,
hours
no.
earlier.
Hold on a second. Listen. To
8 hours.
To a degree, I take your point about demonization, I think generally. But I'm asking you about your insistence that certain words that are being used by your political opponents should be off limits. And if that is your contention, then I think lay that on the table and let's make that clear and let's apply it to everybody.
We missed a good point.
Everybody.
We missed a good point that he made. Everybody at the table did, and I think that we need to pay more attention to it, and I'm glad you brought it up and not me. What there is a common theme about is young white men in this country between the ages of 20 and 30 committing a series of mass shootings. And until we actually have a conversation about that, do you know who else struck that chord? You know who else said the same thing on Fox News? Trey Gowdy, who said the same thing. We have to begin to have a conversation
I'm fine
about
with that
families,
conversation.
video games.
I'm fine. I love
The
the
problem is people
I
like
love
Ben
that conversation.
Ferguson.
You and I can
in
agree
that
on
mix, we have to
on
include
that.
the media and social media. The fact that tonight the first thing we started talking about was J.D. Vance instead of what actually happened is irresponsible. And we have to start holding that
We can't
accountable.
use J.D. Vance's own words.
Exactly. So basically, what I have came up with in this situation is that they have to get the spin rhetoric out because that's how they get their ratings and their views. And if they don't do that, then they'll lose their base. Well, maybe that's the base that you need to lose. Maybe it's the radical people that you need to lose that help us become more healthy as a country.
Why is that right where you go?
It's the vice president.
Hold on,
That's
what words are more
immediately-
important?
that's immediately
this is
turn
serious.
people apart.
If we're going to talk about this, why not look at
are tearing people apart?
No,
Is that
no,
what you're
you
saying?
going right there instead
Me
of
playing
saying
what the vice president said is divisive.
Ben, you wanna know
I'm not
whose
saying you don't
words?
get
What he
there.
said
The words
is
that matter most to me were the ones that were on the
You
bullets.
didn't do Gavin Newsom's comments against
And
ICE.
we didn't play those
he's the
tonight.
vice
Why didn't
president.
why didn't you
8
start
hours
with that?
before.
That
All
was
right.
more relevant.
Okay, listen, I don't even know what to say. He's the vice president of the United
And he's
States.
the governor.
We're going to
Just-
play his
The
comments.
difference is in
All
one
right.
case, there's no demonstration of cause and effect between what Gavin Newsom said and what happened. And in the other case, we know he's talking about the event that we're talking about today
Then
in the
include
news.
both.
Did you notice the gaslight from Abby? He's the vice president of the United States. We're going to play his comments. No, actually, he's the vice president of the United States, and you pick and choose the comments that you play from him to amplify your base.
Then include
No,
both.
but one is actually
One is
about
actually
it, and the other
related.
is speculative about
You're
maybe
talking
it
about
could
right.
ICE
be.
agents.
Okay.
That's not speculating.
Of
All
course
right.
it is.
Gavin
About the
Newsom,
connection.
ICE
There
agents
needs to
get
be
shot
some
at,
media
and Gavin
accountability.
Newsom's shouting about
Okay.
ICE
Ben,
All right, so if Trump says something and then the next day someone does something really stupid, you're going to tell me they're connected,
the
right?
Democratic Party has demonized ICE
Now
as a
it's the
group.
Democratic. Look, I'm
And
with
it is a
Ben.
mantra.
I happen to
Listen to
agree with
Have
you.
you ever said,
I agree with you.
Listen to
All
this.
right, guys,
Donald
we're going to
Trump-
leave it
when-
here for this conversation because we really do have to go. We have a lot more to get to in the show. We are getting the ratings from Jimmy Kimmel's return last night.
All right, guys, so tell me what you think in the comment section down below. What do you think should be done about the rhetoric on the left and possibly the rhetoric on the right? I just feel personally that the rhetoric on the right has become tamed. If we do have rhetoric on the right, then we do somehow contain the rhetoric and we condemn the rhetoric immediately. On the left, however, it's contradictory to whatever they were talking about. The young guy, when he was trying to flex, and he did a great job in the beginning, I have to say, but also he did a horrible job with staying out of the rhetoric zone. If you were trying to combat rhetoric, then combat it. Don't bring in rhetoric because that will dilute your whole conversation and your argument. Everyone else on the panel, tried to ignore the truth. And the truth was brought in the beginning of the conversation by Ben. You guys let me know what you're thinking about them in the comment section, please. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share so you can keep getting these debates and news. Next time, be strong, be vigilant, pray without ceasing. And as always, I love you. And you know I do.